shows gymnastics. Today, the Danube River, which flows throughout the European continent, is being joined by the waters of the Pacific Ocean. I'm Charlie Jones, and this is Nancy Cease Marshall. And Nancy, we have a veritable high tide of women's gymnastics.
Charlie, the Danube flows down from Budapest here to the country of Romania, and they've sent their top gymnast, Lavinia Agate. Then it flows eastward to the country of the Soviet Union, and we have their top two gymnasts, world champion Olga Bichirova and World Cup champion Natalia Yurchenko. And the waters of the Pacific Ocean flash up on the west coast of the United States, and we have newcomer Michelle Goodwin and perhaps America's brightest hope for a medal in the '84 Olympics, Julianne McNamara.
And we have a very interesting format.
The girls are not doing the all-around. They've chosen their favorite event. So in today's competition, we'll see the best in the world competing on their best event.
And Nancy, we have a sellout crowd of more than 8,000 fans on hand here today. In fact, some 4,000 people were turned away at the gate. The first event, the women's vaulting, and Olga Bichirova, the Soviet Union, the current all-around world champion, has just completed her 2 vaults, and she had some problems.
I don't think her run was really as powerful as it could have been. She went for a handspring there. You see a pike front somersault with a half turn, but she lands low. It's a low score.
The score of her second vault, a 9.2. The average of the 2 vaults, 8.97. And that brings up Julianne McNamara of the United States.
And Julianne is coming fresh from a World Cup medal in this event. Full twisting Tsukahara. Julianne got good lift and push off the horse. Watch as she approaches with determination. Pushes through her shoulders. There's a nice, crisp turn.
Little bobble on the landing. The score on this vault, a 9.75. Julianne's average of 2 vaults, 9.65. That puts her in first place.
Next up, Natalia Yurchenko, and many people believe this young gal is on her way to becoming the new queen of gymnastics in the Soviet Union. In doing so, she's performing a new vault, and earlier I asked her just how she came up with that vault.
My coach thought of it, and we worked on it together. At first, I was afraid it was difficult to find the board. Now I have done it so often, it is easy for me.
Hard to believe that this is easy, Charlie. Wait till you see this vault. To me, I think it's bringing a whole new look to the event of vaulting. Natalia is actually going to tumble onto the board.
You're right, Nancy. That's great. That's a whole new dimension of vaulting.
We saw tumbling go from the floor exercise to the balance beam, and now they're adding it to the vault. Here we see it in slow motion. Round off, onto the board, bounces backwards, does a back handspring onto the horse, pushing off, and doing the second half of what we call a Tsukahara with a full twist. Good height, nice control.
That's a great vault, and the judges agree. Her score, a 9.9. The average of her 2 vaults, 9.77, and she's the champion. And here are the official results. Sports World will continue right after this. The Sports Charnock in Budapest, Hungary. The next event, the uneven parallel bars, and next up is Julianne McNamara.
Charlie, Julianne is a world medalist on this event. She's had quite a career, and earlier I had a chance to ask her just what she felt she's gotten out of the sport of gymnastics.
The traveling, which I really enjoy, and going to other countries and meeting different people, and just competing for your country and achieving something. I think gymnastics really develops a lot of responsibility and dedication, which carries over to whatever you do in the future.
And this young lady does have dedication. Julianne McNamara of the United States.
She has one of the most difficult routines being done here. Giant swing. Real real tight body. There's a forward stalder. She grabbed it. Having problems with that trick in practice, she makes it solid. Getting ready for her dismount. Wow, super routine.
Just that little bobble of the landing, and that was all that might mar that routine.
Charlie, this is one of the best bar routines in the world. I think that it's a well-balanced routine with good swing, good control, great amplitude. Everything she does. Look at the extension in her leg. Right up to a tight-bodied handstand. Good front stalder, and she grabs for that bar. Charlie, if we have one chance for a medal in 1984, it's this gal on this event.
Julianne score a 9.9, and she moves into first place. And that brings up Michelle Goodwin of the United States. She's from Burke's Academy in Pennsylvania, 15 years of age.
Michelle has a dynamic mount, round-off front somersault. Hecht off the bar. Nice full twist there. Michelle has the difficulty. Pacing is a little slow. Here comes her dismount. Good clean routine.
Nancy, Michelle is fun to watch. She has a very innovative routine.
Innovation is right, Charlie. You saw your Cinco tumble onto the vaulting horse, and here Michelle tumbles right onto the uneven parallel bar.
Michelle's score a 9.7, and we'll have to see how that holds up.
Next up, Natalia Yurchenko. And one of the judges carefully watching her, Ludmila Teresheva, who also happened to be on our very first Sports World show from Oviedo, Spain. Today she's here as a judge.
Also judging here from the United States, Jackie Fye. And I asked Jackie the Americans' approach to judging.
We are very keen on promoting fairness in judging, to judge by the book, and to be consistent in our application of deductions for all gymnasts. We are quite interested in having, of course, the best man, quote unquote, win. And we want the best performance to be awarded with the best score.
Charlie, we'd all agree that Jackie's philosophy is ideal, but there's an obstacle because there's still judges who come from countries with a philosophy, win at all costs.
Now from the Soviet Union, 17-year-old Natalia Yurchenko, 5'1", even 100 pounds.
She is just as dynamic on this event as she is on the vaulting. Lots of flips, good control. Nice amplitude. Back stalder to a handstand. Double twisting flyaway. We talked about Julianne possibly winning a medal in this event in the Olympics. Well, this gal could give her a run for her money. Just as dynamic on this event. Good control. There's a nice tight-bodied cast. Delchev. Tip to the high bar.
She is a tough competitor. Her score a 9.9. She is tied now with Julianne McNamara. Now from China, here is Wu Jiani.
This gal has certainly grown up since we saw her last. Clear hip circle, back stalder. Look at that, right over the high bar. Lots of flexibility. Front somersault. Cast to a handstand. Here comes her dismount. Heck with the back somersault off.
Oh, that's a great routine, Nancy. I think she'll win it.
Charlie, it'll be interesting to see what the judges give her. She did have difficulty. It was a routine that was appealing to the eye because of her flexibility. You can see her back stalder here, how extended her legs are. Good control throughout this part of the routine. Front somersault. Now this is where she seems to lose her momentum. The routine is not quite as dynamic as the other two girls. Cast a handstand. Now here she sort of sneaks over the low bar. Not quite the amplitude that's really needed.
Luciani's score a 9.85. That will give her third place, and the crowd agrees with me. They thought it would be scoring higher than that. Here are the official results with Julianne McNamara and Natalia Yurchenko tying for first. Back in Fort Lauderdale, the team has just been completed. And Nancy, tell us what happened in that event.
First up, Michelle Goodwin from the United States got off to a pretty good start. Head spring mount into a difficult scissors leap. One of the requirements on the balance team, doing leaps. There's a turn. And she had a problem on her tumbling. Back handspring, another back handspring into a tuck back somersault. And that fall will be a 5/10 deduction, which took Michelle out of the running. Next up, Alla Shishova, doing a mount actually created by American gymnast Tracy Calavera. But watch the innovation of the Soviet gymnast coming up. Very difficult. Round off on the beam, right into a full twisting back somersault. Alla fell off too for another 5/10 deduction. So a lot of originality there. Then Olga Bicharova, current world champion, and she mounts the beam like a champion. This little pixie, 16 years old, 4 feet 7, 70 pounds. Flexibility in a handstand. Unique strength move. I think one of the reasons why Olga looks so solid on the beam is that she is short. Easier to keep your balance that way. Here's a tumbling move, back handspring into a layout back somersault. Hops right along the beam. There's what we call a gaining back handspring. Very precise in her movement. Actually looks kind of relaxed up there. Here comes her dismount. Double back somersault. Tremendous routine for Olga. At 16 years old, in some states she could be driving a car right now.
Olga's score a 9.8, and she wins the beam competition. And here are the official results. We'll be back right after these messages. To meet the gymnasts in person, like Wu Jiani last night at the party.
And the gymnasts enjoy meeting each other, too.
Olga Bicharova.
Julianne McNamara.
They're out from underneath the chalk. Well, there's Peter Vidmar, the United States, and Bart Connor.
They look a little different without their leotards and warm-ups on. Michelle Goodwin. Natalia Yurchenko. And Julianne McNamara, who used to play the violin, now doing it the easy way.
And now the floor exercise. Nancy, my favorite event because it's played to music.
It's always my favorite event, Charlie, because it was the only event you couldn't fall off of.
Now, from the Soviet Union, Alla Shishova, 4'11", 91 pounds, 16 years of age.
Alla has a dynamic first tumbling run. tumbling there, but not real expressive in her dance. That's how she gets good height in the first tumbling run. Now, this is what we need to see more of from our American gymnasts. Pole twisting, double back somersault.
Olive's score, a 9.8, and she is now in first place. And that brings up Wu Jiani of China. This young lady has certainly captured the heart of the standing room only crowd here in Budapest today.
We talked about expressive. Wu certainly has it. Double back somersault.
Excellent dance move.
Second tumbling run. 1 3/4 front somersault. That's not a mistake. It's from men's tumbling. Flexibility, grace, ballet, even as she waits for her tumbling run, she does it with style. Low on that double back. Losing her energy. Ooh, off balance on the ending.
She seemed to lose it just at the end of her routine, Nancy.
That's what happens when you're tired. Last event. Here we watch as she does her double back somersault. Lifting with her arms. Doesn't quite have the rotation to pull herself around. She does get right back up into that high leap.
Wu Jiani's score, a 9.3. And still to come in the floor exercise, Romania's best and the Soviet Union's best.
Teresova, who's here as a judge. I asked her what advice she'd give to aspiring young gymnasts.
Прежде всего, я надеюсь, что нужно любить очень.
I would tell them that it is most important to love this sport. Gymnastics is a very complicated and difficult sport, and unless they really love it, they cannot overcome the troubles and the difficult parts.
And here is a young lady who certainly must love this sport. In the floor exercise, the Soviet Union, 17-year-old Natalia Yurchenko.
Watch her first tumbling run. Look at the height there. You know, for a while, Charlie, gymnastics was taking on the look of a sport for tiny little girls. But this gal, I think, is changing that look. Long legs, tall, elegant performer.
And Nancy, she gives us that look, even though she stands just 5'1".
Another good tumbling run. Charlie, we're seeing the progress of the sport of gymnastics because not only now are there the difficult tumbling runs, but the fine points in the dance are being perfected. Last tumbling run coming up. Another double back. That one she's low on.
Just a little short on the final tumbling run. That moves her into second place. And now we're ready for the final competitor, Lavinia Agake of Romania, who was second in the floor exercise at the World Cup.
Charlie, having seen her routine in practice, this will be quite a change in style from Yurchenko's routine. First tumbling run. Explodes off that mat.
She needs a 9.85 to win the floor exercise. Nancy, this is a different style than Yurchenko's. This is more of the wind-up doll approach.
Charlie, it's not necessarily my favorite style. It's one that we've all come to know as typically Romanian. Doesn't quite have the finesse and the polish of the Soviet routine. Tumbling is real strong, though. There's her handstand pirouette. Seems sort of fragmented. Double back somersault. Hits it well.
Lavinia Agake of Romania. Remember, she needs a 9.85 to win the floor exercise.
Lavinia is a powerful tumbler. This is where endurance is important. The last tumbling run. Look at, she still gives height. Good rotation, while the other girls have some problems.
Lavinia scores. She does it, a 9.85. She wins the floor exercise, and here are the official results. Nancy, your impression of the competition?
Charlie, like you said at the top of the show, we saw lots of innovation from the world's best.
I really enjoyed the young lady from China.
Wu Johnny certainly stole the hearts of everyone.